Welcome back, my gardening friends. April 2nd 2022, and even the flowers have bent their heads to this heavy frost this morning. My last frost date's mid-May, could go into June, you never know. That's why I'm not sowing anything too early. I've found another 2 barrels, or should I say acquired. So we're in the greenhouse grow room, full to the rafters. Oh dear, I'm hello, eat me. We're doing a reveal on my potatoes very soon, but there's not a lot of room for any more plants. The beans that I got off Danny, the grapevine allotment, will need to go into the polytunnel. Yes, I did sow them a bit early. The spring onions, salad onions, are ready, almost ready. Cabbages need potting up, so that'll be one of the jobs for April. And I shall continue to take any seeds that germinate and bring them up, pot them up, and very pleased. Looks like that tomato there just needs popping in the ground a little bit more. Push that in now while I'm thinking about it. There, it's happier now. Some of them are still, I'll just give them a light spray. I've just turned all the lights on first thing in the morning. The overwintering tomatoes, some of them have germinated. It takes the time, we're in no rush. There's lots of different stages, and the celery at the back, in the middle of the screen there, and in the middle of the screen there, they'll be ready to pot up as well. But I need to do the potato reveals and get rid of the hanging baskets, etc., to make a little bit more room. So we'll be starting all the tender seeds off later on in April. That's the cucumbers, beans, and a few others, the melons, but I'm not going to do it yet. Far too early for me. This is where everybody puts their surplus bits and bobs, and that's one of my blue barrels that we cut the top and bottom off, and some of the cloth pots. And it looks like I'm the first one here. And like they say, the sky looks full of snow. And we had to hang fire last night before we went gritting because the snow and rain showers. So we've arrived on plot 3. We'll nip over to plot 1 to start the jobs for April. We did such a good job in March, and for those that can get to the allotment over the winter, it has to pay, just so that you get a little bit ahead by topping up your beds, keeping them covered. Normally April time we'd be uncovering these beds, letting them breathe, but by God, it's a bit cold at the minute for that soil. The worms won't like it, so let's keep everything covered for now. So we're back on plot 1. This is where I do a lot of my plant food making, where I keep all my junk, well, some of it anyway. I found another wheelbarrow the other day. We'll be looking at those in more detail in a future video. That'll be like a quick hour's job. And April this year is going to be a very busy month for me at work because of the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, England. A lot of the roads we aren't allowed to work on, so people can get to and from the events. And we had a good March for finding compost as well, which took us up to 28,910 litres ish. 2 more bags left of the autumn leaves from 2021. They won't settle much now, but it's going down. It's going down. Hopefully we'll get those in. We'll get the big sheet put out here so we can make our homemade compost now. Be shocked. I opened this up the other day and it was the biggest rat I've ever seen. He's in here keeping warm. Let's have a little look. Hold on fire, close your eyes. And when you want him to pop out, he doesn't. And some of you are probably glad. It is cold. My fingers are cold now. Getting lots of runoff from the compost bin that goes straight onto those leaves we've just seen, and it's a good activator. These poor pallets have been here now 2 or 3 years. I'll keep moving them about, but eventually I'll be making a new pallet system for these, because it's just a bit of a mishmash of pallets and I need to make them taller as the sun starts to show its head up there in the corner, which my camera doesn't like. Keep moving them about, but at least I've got a spot there for them. Obviously we can't do any weeding at the moment, but when that sun does come up, it's useful. Some odd bits of compost here that I'm going to be using here. I've managed to get this pallet collar over this tree before it gets too big, so if I get a few minutes I can get all these laid in and some soil in, and if we have to we'll plant some salad crops in there. It doesn't matter, find a space and use it. Any other little jobs I can do, if I've got 5 or 10 minutes I can break a bit more of this compost up and top this bin up. So I'm keeping the perlite and compost in this side, cocoa coir in the other. I need to support these better. It's fallen over onto the new structure, which is good job I built the structure. I said I'd flattened these summer fruit in raspberries. And that's better. Just need a bit of string or something to hold those back. I suffer with weeds etc. around all my fruit canes, so any surplus compost with the perlite in I'll be heaping up around here. So that'll be one of the jobs, the quick easy jobs, half an hour jobs when we get time. This is the sheet I use. It's quite thick when I mix all my compost mixes up. I put it down here because that's the only room I'd got while I was doing some of the other composts. All the roots and stuff out of the cannabis compost fines are there, and I've been letting the birds help themselves to some of the roots, and the weather just breaks some of the last bits of compost off and it ends up on the floor in the paths. I've repositioned the giant potato containers. We'll get those put there, and one of the jobs I've definitely got to do is to take out the snowdrops. This is the best time to take them out and move them, or I'll take them out and let them dry out, split them and plant them a little bit later on. But as you can see, some of them have moved. We need to pick those out, because if I do something like I've done on that side with the pallet collars, if I'm lucky enough to get some more, I don't want these buried. They were kindly gifted to me by Nick at Nick's Allotment, and in each of these there was one bulb, and no doubt now there's probably 10 or 12. If I get any plums this year, I'll be very lucky. I'll be very lucky. Depends on whether the fruits have set or not. But we've still got some more cold days to come, which will probably spoil these. That warm weather, everybody thinks, oh, summer's here, spring's here. Oh no, it's not. Always, always be cautious. The roof tiles that I got from Jacko at Jacko's Allotment, they're going into the wildlife area, as is that piece of woven strawy stuffy stuff. That'll go here, but of course while it's cold we don't know what's living in there, so at the height of summer we'll be dismantling this a little bit, moving things around, tidying it up, ready for the winter of 22-23. The daffodils soon go over. I bought them cheaply anyway, but we got a nice little display, and these will split nicely after they've died back properly, so all the green growth goes back and feeds that lovely bulb. The cocoa koi bin is filling up nicely, and I am going to restrict my compost finds to just cocoa koi for now. Oh, sorry guys, I'm addicted. I shall have to pick it up, won't I? I just can't help myself. The rhubarb doesn't mind this weather. It was forced with having those pallets stuck on top of here, but this does make a good area for storage over the winter, popping the pallets across the top. And as soon as the weather gets better, I'll just give it a liquid feed of nettle or manure runoff. It isn't a good idea to grow strawberry plants in amongst your canes, blackberries, etc. It does. They don't do so well. This is why I want to get everything mulched up. It's a nice little job to do when time is limited. Time management, little and often. So we just take a little stroll up to plot 3, and I'm so pleased that we managed to get everything done in there. I've just got those weeds to get out that are in the middle of the screen. Something that I should do, but when it's not as cold as it is. I left the top off the square foot gardening, and we'll see how these fare. They'll take a frost, but it's when the sunshine melts the frost that it does the most damage. But we can't help that. We'll see what happens. But using those polycarbonate sheets, I can create a back, a side, and a roof, and they'll be a lot better. If I can't get scaffold planks now because of the cost, more and more people are using scaffold planks in their houses, and they're mega money. So we'll stick to pallet collars and polycarbonate. We kept the perennial kale covered, and it hasn't been affected by the frost like the claret sprouting broccoli. The leaves always do that in this weather, so don't panic. By this afternoon they'll be perked up, and then they'll get another heavy frost and they'll drop down again. Looking forward to eating that broccoli. By the time you watch this, I will have already eaten what we harvested the other day on I think it was the 30th, just before the snow and ice came. So we're down to the last 3 parsnips. There's my new parsnip box, and I'll be sowing my parsnips in April, probably the 2nd week, something like that. Again, it doesn't take long. It's all prepared. It's had its manure runoff right down into the bottom, and that will have soaked into the manure below, ready for those long tap roots to find that energy. And this is going to be my carrot bed. I'm staying away from the pallet collars because of the motley dwarf virus we had and the issues with the rats. They enjoyed my carrots last year. Of course, you've got carrot root fly as well, so we'll be creating a hoop house over this. We'll get everything sown, and then we'll use the rebars, blue plastic, and some Enviromesh to cover this. This has all been prepared. As you know, the root crops don't need a lot, so they haven't had a lot. This bed hasn't had any manure for 12 months or more, so that'll be ideal for the carrot family. My perennial potato bed, that's a definite. I've got to get that dismantled, all the soil bagged up. Don't know where I'm going to put it. And I've got 8 pallet collars, so we're going to go 4 long and 2 wide in that area. Harvest the parsnips out of that box, move the barrels from there to there, connect them up using the siphoning method. As you can see, all the barrels hopefully are all the same height because they're all connected together. So whatever rain comes from here and from there travels along all the barrels, and I mean all the barrels. Onions don't mind a bit of cold, but the 8 pallet collars that'll be over here will just be at ground level, so there'll be 1 high. Because I have issues with the plastic dropping down the sides, I think by lining the bottom pallet collar with one, and then as I add collars, do the rest, it should stop it from ripping the plastic down. And also, if I do grow some beans, they haven't already got a 2 to 3 foot start and then me trying to reach them. As you can see, my long roots, the water's been freezing in there. Oh, my poor little seedlings. The weather's very unseasonal, very unseasonal, but the water's making it down to there, and I think personally I'll switch the water off. Probably doing that timer no good at all, so I'll get that switched off. But I think underneath there everything could be fine, he says, hopefully. So we have 2 experiments here, one with green manure, another bed without green manure, a bed with the super soil, and a bed without, and the golden gourmet shallots are coming up nicely, and the Bunyard's exhibition beans have bowed their heads to the frost. I showed you a couple of the barrels at home. I don't know where I'm going to put them other 2, but no doubt I'll find somewhere for them. I'll stack them on top of one another. That'll be ideal for a gravity fed watering system in the future, when we eventually get this polytunnel sorted out. And everything looks well in here. So I did some of the salad onions. I numbered them up because I've got loads and loads of the salad onions, and the white Lisbon marked with 3. Looks like they've got really good germination. I may have planted them a little bit too deep, but we'll see how they all come up. You see there's a white Lisbon there, 1, and nothing at all. So at least I know if this one doesn't come up at all, I can throw away those seeds, or at least put them in the compost bin. Some of the potatoes that we revealed and replanted there. There's some carrots. I think they were the pelleted ones. You see the Swiss chard in here is doing a lot better, so I'm going to do more containers with salad crops in the future. They can be moved about. Potatoes are now showing on this one, and these are oh, hang on, oh, that's the purple variety, planted on the 13th of the 3rd. I'd rather harvest and replant straight away. It does help. Need to build a sweet pea structure, just a little wigwam, that'll do for those, and I'll get the broad beans, the ones with the claret flowers, they're really nice, and we need to get that Swiss chard in the ground somewhere, pak choy even. They were Marie Curry's crimson broad beans, couldn't quite think of it at the time. Good job I labelled it. I'm glad I put the cover on the carrots. They're very happy. Polycarbonate on our allotments is a great addition. That'll definitely keep those carrots warm while we've still got this cold spell. I love coming to the allotment early in the morning. The sun starts to rise, the birds are tweeting away. As the sun comes up, it'll just take the frost off those leaves. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now. And for those that have stopped to the end, those are you're my favourite people. A heads up for my UK viewers. Some organic vine weevil nematodes, because they're live. You'll have 2 hours to send me an email and the flutter drawer will come the following night. So watch out for a video with vine weevil in the title. 8 o'clock one evening. Because it will close at 10 PM.